How's it going, folks? I'm Logan, and today I'm going to go over how to diagnose and troubleshoot some potential problems with the primary control unit on your burner. Let's dive in.
You may be wondering what the primary control unit actually is. It's this little device here, off to the right, and it's responsible for receiving electrical signals or calls of heat from the thermostat. It's also responsible for supplying all of the electrical signals of operation to the blower, ignition transformer, oil pump, and the electrodes with their nozzle.
For today's example, I'll be using a Beckett burner. I'll be using a Beckett burner just for the simple fact that it's the most widely used burner in most of American households, specifically in residential settings. The first issue you may run into is lockout. Not all systems have a lockout protocol, but it's worth checking anyway. This particular model doesn't, but the majority of them do, so it's worth mentioning. So the way to tell if your system is on lockout is to look for a flashing red light on the burner, specifically on the control unit, which would be right here. This happens if the burner is refusing to start, and this is what we call a lockout protocol. Lockout protocol happens when the burner fails to ignite within 3 attempts. This is a safety procedure for both the burner and for those of you at home. So what could cause this? A myriad of things could cause a lockout protocol, be it from faulty parts, old corroded bits, or something just misaligned. So one of the examples we'll focus on is the cat eye cell, which can be seen right here. The cat eye cell is responsible for detecting the presence of a flame within the burner unit itself. Now this can easily become weakened over time due to overexposure to light. So all we're going to do is going to pull it right out of the thing. It takes a little bit of tugging, but that's alright. You're going to pull out the thing, and you're just going to want to replace it. That's all you have to do. You can pick most of these up at stores. Most plumbers will actually carry one of these on their truck with them at all times. So you're just going to take it, and you're just going to put it back in. Easy as that. Another main issue can be the ignition rods right here. Now, in order to do that, you're just going to unscrew the oil line from the side, and you're going to pull it out. Now, this particular one is a really good example, although drastic as it is, because these rods are horribly misaligned. Now, these are also called electrodes. Electrodes in particular need to be aligned within 1/8 to 3/16 for in-between spacing, or else it won't generate a spark required to light the fuel. Another possible example for a lockout protocol could be messed up wiring. Like I said, these wires right here, this is a perfect example. They're frayed, they're destroyed. This would easily cause a lockout protocol, specifically because it's a part of the system that does not function, which would result in failure to ignite. The second main issue that you could run into with the primary control unit is faulty wiring. Whether it was done because of the technician or just a manufacturer's error, it might be an issue with the wiring and the placement itself. Doesn't mean anything's broken, doesn't mean anything's damaged, it's just misplaced. So most likely, all you need to do is check inside the control unit to see where the wires go. As you can see right here, these ones are color-coded, along with the matching names for each component of the burner that they lead into. All you're going to need to do then is make sure that each of these wires is aligned correctly with its corresponding component. So this blue wire, for example, is the ignition transformer. So as we can see here, this blue wire follows all the way into the transformer right here. So there's nothing wrong with that. But that'd just be an example of a misaligned wire. If they are misaligned, and it does have one of these, all you're going to have to do is look in, match it up, make sure it's fine. The problem with some older control units is that this might not actually be here. And a lot of the times, technicians get lazy and they'll use random wires so it won't be color-coded. So what you need to do then is you need to look for that specific unit, go to the manufacturer's website if they still make them, and find out what wire goes where. And then it's just a game of trying to plug things around and see what works. You may need to call a technician for this, but most likely if you can just, like I said, if you're able to access where the wires go on the manufacturer site, you should be able to just find out what goes where and plug it in yourself. The last main issue we'll address is that of internal or external damage. What I mean by that is any of the damage caused by outside forces, be it water damage, wear or age, etc., or internal damage such as it frying, which can also just be caused to age or overuse in the system. Keep in mind that these can also be tied with a lockout or cause it, because this tends to control and affect everything else that goes on in the system. In order to assess this, you'll need to take a look at both the interior and exterior of the unit. But since it's about the primary control unit itself, we're only going to focus on this specific section here. So if the issue is actual damage, then there are a few potential reasons why. One example is a burned out circuit board, which I have right here, so that way we don't have to take this one apart. This is an old circuit board, and it's got a lot of corrosion and a lot of burnt marks on here. This just means it's old, it's ran its course, it doesn't work anymore. You can't really repair this yourself. You kind of have to just go buy a new one, and all you're going to do is disassemble your unit like it is here. This is the exact same piece. Put it back on. You'll have to hook up and attach the wires to the bottom, but that's fine because after what I said earlier, you already know how to do that. And another potential issue, let's see, could just be the broken wires itself. Wires have a tendency to fray or to char over time, especially if used excessively. So if that ever is to arise, there's a specific tool. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it's a wire stripper. So all you're going to do is cut out or strip these wires, splice it with a new one, or just replace it completely. Alright, well, that just all about covers all that we need to go over for the primary control unit. I hope this was a help to those of you at home that didn't want to pay a technician or just thought you could do it yourself. Thanks for watching. See you next time.